Hello friends, this is Nitin and I welcome you to my startup podcast channel Jazar Audio, where we share real stories with real learnings. So friends, today my guest speaker is Raj Swaminathan. Raj has over a decade of experience in SaaS, and for the past almost 2 years he's been advising the SaaS startups on go-to-market and growth strategies. Hi Raj, welcome to Jazar Audio and thank you for talking to us.
Thanks, Nitin. Pleasure to be on your podcast and happy to share my experience and knowledge in the SaaS space. Hope it benefits all your listeners.
So let's start with why crossing the chasm, which is converting the free trials to paid subscription, is the only way forward for SaaS startups.
As the research suggests, almost 60% of the free users don't convert to paid users. And there are primarily two reasons for it. One, they didn't understand the usage of the product, or two, they didn't see the value in the product. So obviously, these are the reasons why they don't actually convert. But still, there are a large quantity of free users who are obvious potential paid users, and that's pretty straightforward. They are a captive gold mine you're sitting on, and obviously the best case scenario is to convert. So your first objective should be to convert these free users to paid users. There are 4 or 5 points which are in favor. Is number one, the need is established. Number two, the product is familiarized to them. Number three, they're already open to buy. And number four is all you need to do is clear all their doubts, their misconceptions, their concerns about the features, the technology, the comparisons with the competing product, and establish the price value equation. So that's all you need to do. And then you just pop up the question, are you ready to buy?
And what is the ideal conversion rate for the SaaS startups?
Basically, what I would suggest is that you should not get influenced by any sort of average numbers or any numbers that are floating around. You don't need to get influenced by it, but you can always keep that in mind. So because it honestly depends on the product category, the product maturity, the buying patterns, a lot of factors that go in. So you must actually compare your product with the segment in which you're operating or the niche in which you're operating and get a broad idea on the percentage of conversions. That will give you a good idea. But however, I will just break it down to different stages of startup just to give you a rough idea of what the percentages could be. In the early startups, where I think in my experience a threshold of 10% should be achieved in terms of conversions from free to paid. That should be achieved in no time. Basically in the first 2 or 3 months it should be visible, and then you should aim for 15%, 20%, 25% and grow over the 6 months to about 2 years phase, right, where you can consistently increase the efficiency and grow. But if you don't achieve these 10%, then there is something fundamentally wrong either in the product or the addressable market or the product market fit. So you need to basically revisit or change or pivot or reposition your product. Then comes the mid-stage startups, which are basically between 2 to 5 years. There, anywhere between 25 to 40% is a good number. Again, it depends on the maturity and time in the market, but 25 to 40% I would say. And then the mature startups, which are essentially 5 years and above already in the market, they are clearly able to achieve about 40 to 50% of conversion. That's because most of the processes are set, most of the loopholes are plugged in, and they are able to easily achieve that kind of a consistent conversion. But if you want to just take benchmarks as a best in class, basically the top 3 or 5 players in that particular segment, they easily achieve above 3% of conversion. In some cases even 70%. That's broadly the idea in terms of the conversion. But here you must not take the freemium model into consideration. You have to remember that. You have to take only the free trial user.
And before we talk about the strategies, let's talk about what would be the effective way of managing funnel or leads.
Okay, as far as the strategies are concerned, I will first spend some time on the basic hygiene elements, which makes a huge difference in the quality of users at the upper funnel itself. This ensures that there's a certain quality coming in because that will influence the number of conversion eventually from free to paid. So there are some fundamental points like you have to define your ICP, which is your ideal customer profile clearly. Then the ISP, which is your ideal stakeholder profile, that also needs to be defined very clearly whom you are targeting. Then you should have a simplified pricing model, which means it should be clear and crisp with features and benefits which addresses all segments of the addressable market. Then you must have a clear-cut lead qualification process, whether it's a sales qualified lead or a marketing qualified lead must be defined, and create all the secondary resources, whether it's documentation, tutorials, explainer videos, integration docs, all these things must be ready with you. And then you must always verify the basics. basics. That is basically the website UI UX is functioning properly, the sign up forms, the activation process, all these basics of the site are working fine. Now this will help you at a basic hygiene level to ensure that your strategies work.
Great. So let's talk about the effective strategies to convert free users to paid subscribers.
I break the strategies into basically three parts. One is a pre-free trial phase, and two is during the free trial phase, and then a post-free trial phase, right? I'll break it down into three parts. So in the pre-free trial phase, which is the phase one, you need to ensure few things and you need to freeze it. One is the number of days which you're going to offer the free trial, whether it is a 14-day free trial or 30-day free trial, or even some clients are offering 7 days. A 14-day is a normal trend in the SaaS vertical. But if the product is a little complicated, you can go for 30 days also. Then the number of users. So again, depend on your product, whether it is a team product or it's an individual product, you may want to define the number of users you're going to give the free trials for, 1, 2 or more. Next is the free to paid conversion method, right? There are two options over there. One is opt-in and one is opt-out. Basically where they put a credit card and they want to already give you a go ahead that you can deduct it from month 2 where they will start using the product. So that's an opt-in. Or opt-out where they can always bail out within the trial period and they can cancel it. Basically, you need to decide which model to go ahead. Then the last point you need to freeze is basically the incentives you want to offer during the conversion phase. Whether you're going to give any discounts or some offers or some promotions you want to do to make them convert from free to paid. Now, during the free trial, which is the phase 2, what you need to ensure is one, the document what the customer need for the product is in his own words. Basically, what pain areas he wants to remove, what is he wanting to achieve with this product, what are his objectives in his own words. Second, you must document all common conversion traits or patterns, basically which part of the week is working well, weekend or weekday, time of the day, all those kind of trends which you can get from your analytics. You must document all those conversion traits. That will help you to use it for future. Then the whole process of free trial must be optimized to give a great experience. So right from the welcome to the onboarding call to the question and answers to multiple calls that you do with the client as follow-ups, the setup process and support, etc. Everything. The whole experience have to be top notch. So that is very important. Then the fourth point is communication and feedback frequently is also very important because you need to take feedback regularly so that you know where the client is going. Also, you have to be careful that you don't annoy them too much, but it should be adequately spaced out. The whole personalized lifecycle marketing, right from the free trial to activation to onboarding to re-engagement to conversion and then handing over to account management. This entire life cycle of the free trial should be clearly very, very process driven. Also, you must gear up all your functional team, basically which are the teams which are going to work along with the sales, like customer success, support, tech, product. Whenever you want to bring in anybody, they must be able to pitch in and do a great job of. Then basically the third phase, which is the end of the free trial. So what you want to do now is focus on conversion. So you must first do a feedback session, a call. It could be automated or it could be manual depending on your product and scale. Then the re-engagement in terms of feedback, whether it is the product features, price, competition, all those things which was defined earlier, have they done all the tick marks? So revisit that document which was agreed earlier, right? Then share references. You can share references of the most relevant customer, similar type of customer or similar type of geo or user, which you can give them as a reference so that they can do a ref check with them. Then obviously you're going to offer them the incentives, which is basically your discounts or promos or coupons. So that is something you can offer to speed up the conversion. Now, all this, if it doesn't happen, you must you must create a sense of urgency, the fear of missing out or the FOMO. Basically tell them that, this is a limited period offer or, whatever it is to help them speed up the buying process. And eventually, if they actually drop out, which means they are not buying the product, you must also take feedback in those cases, basically as to asking them why they are dropping out, reasons for not buying, and that should be documented because that is something you will need to address it for your future prospects. So that's basically the strategies which I broke it down in 3 phases.
Awesome. So could you share the examples of SaaS startups which used these strategies?
I would rather give you some examples of some tactical and strategic initiatives by various companies, which will give you some kind of an idea on how innovatively these strategies can be deployed. Right. First, you can take the case of say Canva, right, where they have enough features given in the free trial, but they limit the most important feature, which is basically the download of files. That is one way of luring the customers. Second, I would give an example of feedback sessions. Right, there are a lot of clients who do feedback sessions halfway, which is basically if the 14-day free trial they do a feedback session midway at 7 days. That is one tactic which you can use. There is one company whom I recently spent time with is Vizel, which is a social media analytics platform. They do DIY videos within the dashboard. Basically, they do it yourself kind of videos, which is recorded and already loaded on the dashboard. So that helps a lot of clients without reaching out to the support. They can already just refer to the video and sort of do it. Then one of my clients whom I work with is RedTrack, where they create Loom videos or recorded videos to answer queries. So instead of setting up calls, they just note the query, they create a video which is recorded along with the dashboard and send it back to the client. That is an interesting way of addressing and reducing the time spent. Also, there are companies who promote the premium features to the freemium users. Basically, that whoever is in a free trial, they always promote within that interface, they promote the premium features regularly, so that lure is always there. And cases like there's an example of a SaaS company like iZoto, where they actually monetize the freemium users. They don't they convert that into an advertising opportunity. So they are a push notification platform. So instead of just getting that for free, they are asking a permission to show ads in between. That's a good way to monetize. Also, when they are moving from free to paid kind of model, you must also ensure that the no data is lost, because that is very important for each of the clients. So whatever data they've already created during the free trial, that must be carried forward to the paid trial also. So these are some of the strategies or tactics, you may want to call it, which is very, very effective.
Finally, how can SaaS startups connect with you?
Okay, how people can get in touch with me? One is straightforward. LinkedIn is the best way. So you can search for Raj Swaminathan, or you can email me at raj@stratumhub.com, which is stratumhub.com, or you can reach out to me on Skype. My Skype ID is Raj the Skyper, RAJTHESKYPER.
Great. Thank you, Raj, for sharing valuable insights for the SaaS startups. I'm sure they will gain a lot of value adds from this podcast. Thank you for coming on board to Jazar Audio, and pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for having me, Nitin, and talking to all your listeners, and it was indeed a pleasure.
Lastly, I want to thank all the listeners who took their valuable time to listen to this podcast. Keep rocking, be safe, and don't forget to share.